If you're over 60 and your blood sugar feels impossible to control no matter what you do, you need to hear this. What if I told you that the first glass of water you drink each day determines whether your glucose stays stable or spikes unpredictably for reasons you can't explain, and that you were never taught the right way to do it? And here's what most doctors don't tell you. A 2019 study from Osaka University tracked 2,214 seniors with diabetes for 16 weeks. Those who followed a specific hydration timing protocol saw their fasting blood glucose drop by 34 points on average and experienced 28% fewer post-meal spikes compared to those who drank the same amount of water at random times. The conclusion: when you drink matters just as much as what you drink. And Japan's oldest practicing doctor has observed the same pattern for 6 decades. Seniors who start their day with coffee, gulp cold water when thirsty, or ignore hydration until dinner, their glucose numbers make no sense. Their energy crashes every afternoon, and they feel like failures despite doing everything else right. But those who drink water at 4 specific times each day, at the right temperature and amount, live completely differently, steadier. And in a few minutes, you hear exactly what 4 hacks those seniors are using in the first 30 seconds after waking, and 3 other critical windows throughout the day. Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast, where science and lived experience meet to help you age with strength and clarity. Sitting with me is Japan's oldest practicing doctor, and what he shares in the next few minutes will change how you think about water, glucose control, and what's actually possible. Doctor, when you say we've been teaching people what to eat, but forgot to teach them how to drink, that feels profound.
It is profound because dehydration doesn't just make you thirsty. It makes your cells reject the very insulin trying to save them. So if you are listening and you've been struggling with unexplained blood sugar spikes despite doing everything right, please comment a 1 below.
And that's a completely different way of understanding this. So when seniors are doing everything right with diet and medication, but their numbers still won't stabilize, the missing piece could be as simple as water timing?
Exactly. And this is what frustrates me most in clinical practice. We ask seniors to monitor their carbohydrates down to the gram. We adjust medications with precision. We educate about glycemic index and portion control, but we never once ask how much water they drank yesterday, or when, or at what temperature. It's as if hydration exists in a separate conversation entirely. That's why everyone should hear this.
I've noticed that too, especially with my own patients who track everything religiously, but their numbers still feel chaotic.
Let me explain what happens inside the body after 60 that makes this so critical. There are 4 biological shifts that occur with age, and most people have no idea they're even happening. First, your cellular water channels, proteins called aquaporins, become less responsive. Even when you drink water, your cells struggle to pull that water inside where it's actually needed. Second, your kidneys lose approximately 30% of their filtering capacity by age 70. This means they're less effective at clearing excess glucose, and they also lose more water than necessary through urine. Third, your sense of thirst becomes delayed by up to 90 minutes after your body actually needs water. You could be medically dehydrated without feeling even slightly thirsty. And fourth, many diabetes medications, especially diuretics for blood pressure, actively pull water from your body.
So by the time someone feels thirsty, they're already in trouble, and their cells might not even accept the water properly when they finally drink it.
Precisely. And this changes everything about insulin resistance. When your cells are dehydrated by even just 3%, your cell membranes become rigid. Think of a dried-out sponge versus a moist one. The dried sponge can't absorb anything. Your cell membranes work the same way. When they are properly hydrated, insulin receptors function normally. When they are dehydrated, those receptors essentially shut down. Your pancreas could be producing insulin, you could be injecting insulin, but if your cell membranes are rigid from dehydration, that insulin cannot do its job. The glucose stays trapped in your bloodstream, not because you ate wrong or skipped medication, but because your cells physically cannot accept it.
That reframes everything. It's not just about thirst or feeling dry, it's about whether insulin can even work at the cellular level.
And this is why so many seniors feel like they're failing. They're doing everything right on paper, but nobody told them about the water.
So before we even talk about the timing windows, I'm guessing there are some basic mistakes most people are making without realizing it. Things they assume are helping, but might actually be working against them.
Yes, 3 very common ones. And the first is something I see almost every morning in my practice. People count their coffee and tea as part of their daily water intake.
That's something I hear all the time from patients too. They'll say they had 2 cups of coffee, so they're hydrated.
But coffee and tea are mild diuretics. For every cup you drink, you lose approximately 60% of that volume through increased urination. So if you drink 8 ounces of coffee, you only net about 3 ounces of actual hydration. The rest is pulled from your body's existing water stores.
So they think they're adding water, but they're actually running a deficit. And if that's happening first thing in the morning, when they're already dehydrated from sleep, their blood sugar is starting the day in the worst possible environment.
Exactly right. Their blood is already thick from overnight dehydration. Then they make it worse with coffee, and by the time they check their glucose an hour later, it's elevated for reasons that have nothing to do with what they ate. The insulin simply couldn't reach the cells efficiently because circulation was compromised.
That must be so confusing for someone who's doing everything by the book and still seeing high morning numbers. They're blaming their dinner or their medication when the real issue started with their first sip of the day.
And that brings us to the second mistake, which might surprise you even more. It's about temperature.
Temperature? You mean the temperature of the water itself?
Yes. Most people, especially in the morning, drink ice-cold water straight from the refrigerator. It feels refreshing, so they assume it's helping. But when cold water hits your stomach, especially when your core body temperature is still low from sleep, your blood vessels immediately constrict.
I hadn't thought about that, but it makes perfect sense physiologically.
When blood vessels constrict, circulation slows dramatically. And where does glucose need to go? Into your cells through your bloodstream. Constricted vessels mean insulin and glucose can't reach their destinations efficiently. But there's something even worse happening. Cold water in an empty stomach triggers a stress response, which releases cortisol. And cortisol signals your liver to dump stored glucose directly into your bloodstream.
So someone could wake up with a decent fasting number, drink ice-cold water, thinking they're doing something healthy, and accidentally spike their own blood sugar before they've even had breakfast. That's heartbreaking because the intention is so good, but the outcome is exactly what they're trying to avoid.
Exactly. And this is why I always say room temperature or warm water in the morning keeps your blood vessels relaxed and open, your circulation stays optimal, your stress response stays calm, and your morning glucose stays stable.
It's such a simple shift, but the physiological impact is massive.
Yes, but there's one more mistake that might be the most damaging of all, and it happens because seniors can no longer trust their own bodies to tell them the truth.
Wait, what do you mean they can't trust their bodies?
Remember what I said earlier about thirst being delayed by up to 90 minutes after age 65. By the time you finally feel thirsty, you're already significantly dehydrated. And then what do most people do? They drink 16 or 20 ounces all at once, thinking they're fixing the problem.
I see that pattern constantly. They'll go hours without drinking anything, then suddenly chug a huge glass because they finally notice they're parched.
But your intestines can only absorb approximately 8 ounces of water every 20 minutes. anything beyond that amount simply passes through to your bladder and comes right back out. You haven't hydrated your cells at all. You've just taken an expensive trip to the bathroom. It's like trying to water a garden with a fire hose. The ground can't absorb it fast enough. It runs off and the roots stay dry, even though you used a lot of water.
So even when they're trying to catch up, the body physically can't process it that way, which means the only real solution is to stay ahead of thirst entirely, not react to it after the fact.
That's exactly right. Proper hydration requires small, frequent amounts throughout the day. You maintain a constant gentle rain instead of one massive downpour. And this is where the 4 windows come in. The first window is the most critical, and it happens in the first 30 seconds after you open your eyes. Before anything else, before coffee, before the bathroom, before checking your phone, you drink 12 ounces of room temperature water with trace minerals added.
That's such a specific instruction, and I'm guessing the minerals part isn't optional.
No, it's essential. Your cells don't just need H2O. They need electrolytes to create the electrical gradients that allow glucose to enter. Think of minerals as the keys that unlock your cell doors. Water without minerals is like showing up at a locked door with no key. Specifically, magnesium is crucial for insulin function, and nearly 70% of people over 60 are clinically deficient. Potassium helps regulate glucose levels directly. Sodium, in appropriate amounts, is essential for cellular hydration. You can buy liquid trace and mineral drops at any health food store for about $10, and they last months. Just add 5 drops to every 32 ounces of water you drink.
So it's not just about rehydrating after sleep, right? It's about giving the cells what they actually need to accept that water and use it properly.
Yes. And this first drink does something remarkable for blood sugar specifically. After 7 to 8 hours without fluid, your blood has literally thickened overnight. This morning water rehydrates your blood, allowing it to flow more easily and deliver insulin more effectively. It also signals your hypothalamus to wake up your metabolism gently, which prevents the cortisol spike that causes dawn phenomenon.
Wait, so that frustrating morning blood sugar rise that seems to come from nowhere, that could be prevented just by drinking the right water at the right moment?
In many cases, yes. I've seen morning fasting glucose drop by 30 to 35 points on average just from this single step. But the windows don't stop there, John.
That's incredible, and it sounds like there's a rhythm to this throughout the entire day. So what comes next after that first critical window in the morning?
The second window is 30 minutes before each meal. You drink 8 ounces exactly 30 minutes before you eat breakfast, lunch and dinner. Not 15 minutes, not right before eating. 30 minutes.
There must be something physiological about that specific timing.
There is. It gives your stomach time to prepare. It activates digestive enzymes and begins to dilute stomach acid to the optimal concentration for breaking down food. Most importantly for blood sugar, it slows gastric emptying. When food moves more slowly from your stomach to your small intestine, carbohydrates are absorbed more gradually. This creates a gentle rise in blood sugar instead of a sharp spike, and your available insulin can actually keep up with incoming glucose.
So you're essentially preparing the digestive system to handle the meal in a way that protects blood sugar stability.
Exactly. Studies show this single habit can reduce post-meal glucose spikes by up to 35%. That's comparable to some medications achieved simply by drinking water at the right time. The third window happens twice during the day, mid-morning and mid-afternoon. 6 to 8 ounces at 10:30 in the morning and again at 3:30 in the afternoon.
I'm guessing this is when most people's blood sugar does those unpredictable jumps for no apparent reason.
Yes, you're not eating, so you assume your glucose should be stable, but then you check and it's climbed 20 or 30 points. What's actually happening is dehydration. As your blood loses water through normal metabolic processes, it becomes more concentrated. More concentrated blood means higher glucose readings, even though you haven't added any glucose to your system. These small amounts at strategic times keep your blood volume consistent and your glucose readings stable.
It's like maintaining equilibrium throughout the day instead of letting the body go into crisis mode and then trying to fix it. But there's still one more window, isn't there? Something that happens in the evening.
Yes, the fourth window is 2 to 3 hours before bed. Most people have heard not to drink water right before bed because of nighttime bathroom trips, and that's true. But drinking at 7 or 8 in the evening, a full 2 to 3 hours before bed, allows your body to process and distribute that water.
So you're hydrating for the overnight period without setting yourself up to wake up constantly.
Exactly. You'll likely urinate once before bed, then sleep through the night. This evening hydration prevents your blood from thickening too much overnight, which means you wake up with better circulation and more stable morning readings. Now, I need to be honest with you about what happens when people start this protocol. The first week is challenging.
How so? Is it just the adjustment period, or is there something specific people need to prepare for?
The first week, you will be in the bathroom more than usual. Your body has been in drought mode for months or years, and suddenly it's receiving consistent water. Your kidneys are recalibrating. Most people quit after 3 days because the bathroom trips are annoying. But if you push through, within 10 to 14 days, your kidneys adjust, your bladder learns to hold more comfortably, and the urgency decreases dramatically, while true cellular hydration improves. By week 2, bathroom frequency normalizes, and blood sugar readings begin showing more consistency. By week 3, this is where people have their breakthrough moment. Morning fasting glucose begins dropping noticeably 15, 20, sometimes 25 points lower than your previous average. And by week 4 and beyond, many people see their A1C drop by half a point to nearly a full point over 3 months.
That timeline is so helpful because people need to know it gets easier, and they need to know when to expect real results. But I'm also thinking there must be some people who shouldn't increase their water intake without talking to their doctor first, right?
Yes, and this is very important. If you have congestive heart failure or any condition where fluid retention is a concern, talk to your cardiologist before increasing water intake. In some cardiac conditions, drinking too much water can worsen fluid retention.
That makes sense. The heart is already struggling to manage the volume it has.
Exactly. If you have kidney disease, especially if you're on dialysis or have less than 30% kidney function, you need individualized guidance. Do not increase water intake without your nephrologist's approval. And if you're on diuretic medications for blood pressure or heart conditions, your doctor may need to adjust dosages as you improve hydration, because proper hydration can naturally lower blood pressure, which is good, but might make your current diuretic dose too strong.
So this isn't about replacing medical care, it's about optimizing the environment so medical care works better.
Precisely. And while overhydration is rare, watch for signs. If you're urinating completely clear urine more than 10 times daily, or if you develop headaches or nausea, you might be drinking too much. Pull back slightly. This protocol optimizes your cellular environment so medications work the way they were designed to work. It doesn't replace them.
That's such an important distinction because people need hope, but they also need to stay safe. It could be the missing piece someone has been searching for, as long as they're doing it in communication with their doctor.
Yes. And I want to say this clearly. Sometimes the most powerful interventions aren't the most complicated ones. Sometimes it's getting the basics right that creates transformation.
I think that's what strikes me most. We have all these advanced medications and complex treatments, but we forgot the simplest question: are you drinking water correctly?
And for anyone listening who feels defeated despite doing everything right, hear me. Your body is not broken. You were simply never taught this piece. Start tomorrow morning, 12 ounces of room temperature, water with minerals, the moment your feet hit the floor.
Can they start all 4 windows right away?
Yes. Your body will adjust. The first week will be uncomfortable, but by week 3, you'll see it in your numbers.
Doctor, thank you. This is going to change lives. Please, if you are still listening, leave us with a thumbs up and comment whether you are going to try this out. And make sure to watch this next episode.
Oh, this is a good one. People should see
People should
this.
definitely watch. See you there.